All right, it is Sunday prep day, but I have another Sunday podcast for you. Hey, it's Heather Chauvin, wife, mother of 3 boys, former social worker, breadwinner, recovering hustler, and stage 4 cancer survivor. I'm not a fan of that term, by the way. Beyond all of these titles and labels, I'm a human being, just like you, attempting to navigate it all while feeling good. My goal on this podcast is to show you that you can live an energized, sustainable life, both at home and in your work. It doesn't matter if you stay at home full-time, if you work from home, you're a CEO, a successful business owner, or trying to find some inspiration. On this show, I attempt to keep it real with stories, interviews, and random thoughts. This is not a business or career podcast, and it's not a parenting podcast. It's both and so much more. You will laugh. You may even cry, and you may even get a little frustrated with the truth you've been hiding from yourself. I believe all human behavior is a language, whether it's through your child's behavior, your health, or a relationship. And when we learn to listen instead of react, we begin to understand what it truly means to feel alive and in control. It's time to put your big girl pants on and find your brave. Let's go. Today, I'm not going to talk about my energetic time management and give you the same old podcast because rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Today, I'm going to change it up and I'm going to talk about the stories and beliefs or habits that actually are stopping you from feeling in control of your time. Before we dive into today, I just want to remind you that tomorrow, Monday, July 13th, we are starting a live round of the Getting Out of Your Own Way mini course. So it's 4+ days, and when I say 4+ days, is we have 4 days of content where we're going to be showing you how to feel in control of your time, your energy, how to get super crystal clear on what's working and what's not working, and create that damn vision that has been inside of you for so long. So we're doing this inside of a live Facebook group, but there's also an accompanying PDF and workbook that you can download when you go to heatherchauvin.com/workshop. So my last name is spelled CHAUVIN. So heatherchauvin.com/workshop. And when you go there, you're going to see the PDF and the videos already, so you can get started. And we're going to do this live. And so I'm also going to be providing a Q&A every night. And all of the details are inside of that private Facebook group. So we're going to dive deeper into what is really stopping us. I'm going to share some of my own personal stories around beliefs that I've had throughout the years and what I've had to work through. We're going to be doing live Q&A. We're going to be asking you, what are you currently struggling with? Why are you here? And really tailoring it to you. And that is the beauty of doing this live. And it is also 100% free. So don't say that I didn't give you anything. heatherchauvin.com/workshop. Okay. So beliefs and stories around time that sabotage your joy, that sabotage you from creating the life that you want. Whether it is the relationships that you want and desire with your children, your partner, whether it's the money that you want to make, the business building strategies. We all have a lot of expectations and responsibilities on our plate. But oftentimes I see people sabotaging themselves because they're like, I don't know where to look. I don't know where to grow. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to invest my time and energy on. So I want you, for the sake of this conversation, to think about time as money. And when you are investing means you're taking action. Investing means you're putting something into something. You have intention. You're focusing your energy and attention somewhere. So we can invest our money, right? We can invest our time, and we can invest our energy. So it's not really about sacrificing or things being hard. It's just really asking yourself, what do I want? And then realigning your time, your energy, and your money in alignment with your goals and what you want and desire. So I did a quick Google search and I found this website called lifehack.org. And I Googled reasons why people say they don't have enough time. And it came up with 9 or 10. And so I wanted to talk about a few today. So this is from lifehack.org, O-R-G. So the first one was resistance to rising early. And they talked about studies were showing that when you rise early, or people who are quote unquote successful are early risers. And when I first heard this one, I was kind of like angry because I typically wake up early. Naturally, I can wake up early now, but this always wasn't the case for me. And I know that some people might be night owls and you sleep in if you have the luxury of doing that, which is totally fine. But there is this like fresh new energy that happens with early morning risers. This fresh start, going to make shit happen. And so it's not about having a perfect morning routine. It's about being intentional with your day, right? I go to bed early. I rise early. I used to be the one that burnt the midnight oil and, was drinking a pot of coffee just to motivate myself to get out of bed. And slowly, I have kind of reversed that habit. But I wouldn't say, I don't wake up at 5 o'clock every day. Sometimes it's 5:30, sometimes it's 6 or 6:30, sometimes 7. I mean, I've even lately got my ass out of bed at 8, which feels like I slept until noon. And I've been playing with myself, not in that way, but I've been playing with myself around what it feels like. Do I want to stay in bed and just ride this out and give myself more permission to wake slowly? Do I want to get out of bed and be like, okay, let's get our workout in, let's do some journaling? And I really advocate for a morning routine. And then people get so perfectionist around it and being like, well, did I do this right? Did I do this right? And I want you to know that being an early riser doesn't, when I read this, I was like, I don't like that. But it is more about intentional rising to me. Intentionally rising with your intentions for the day rather than going with the flow. Yes, it is nice to have those days where you have nothing on the calendar. And even on those days when I have nothing on the calendar, I still am being intentional with my personal habits, how I'm treating my mind and my body and my soul, paying attention to my nutrition and my water, and not doing it from this place of check, but just, intentionality. Because if I don't keep up with those routines, what's going to happen is I'm going to feel like shit. And that is not the whole point. So you can lean into this energy of becoming an early riser on your own terms and just be more intentional with it. So that's what I would say for number 1. Number 2, multitasking a lot. People thinking that they can do more at once. This is I'm raising my hand that this is complete bullshit. You cannot multitask. And if you are like, look at me, I get the gold star for multitasking. What you're really saying to the universe is, I cannot focus my energy and attention on one task and complete one task at a time. What I find with this around is this underlying belief that you don't have enough time, right? You're like, I have so much to do. Okay, I'm going to start this. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do this. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. And there's this rushing energy behind it. And again, studies have shown, and there was one done in Stanford, and it said you're actually less productive and you're wasting more time by multitasking because you're not completing any task. You're not actually focused on one task at a time. And then what you're doing is you're wasting precious time and energy from switching to one task to the other. But I will say this because I am a recovering multitasker. I typically will follow through with one subject at a time, and it feels extremely vulnerable to do that. Psychologically, I know, right? I can read these articles. Psychologically, I know that one task at a time is better than multi. But when you have the subconscious beliefs coming out telling you, no, I need to do it all at once because if I don't do it all at once, then I'm going to be a failure. And if I'm a failure, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. So this is a lot about mindset work. All of this stuff around time is about mindset. and making sure that your beliefs are in order. And this is something that I'm also teaching in the Get Out of Your Own Way mini course. So make sure you sign up for that. All right. 3. I think I'm going to do 4 of them. You don't track or budget your time. All right. Listen, I am a rebel. I am a rebel at heart. I will declare this until the day I die. When someone tells me to do something, I will do the complete opposite. It is in my nature. It is who I was as a child. I need to do things on my own terms. I actually don't do well with too much structure. I'm not, meticulous with everything needs to be perfect. I am a creative, so there is this flowy side to me. But structure is so, so important. And that is why I created energetic time management. It's not a one and done system. It's not how to batch your time. It's really helping you, putting your actual unique needs, your mind, your body, your soul, what do you want to feel strong and alive and on purpose in your life, putting that on the calendar. But what I realized is if you log your time, so if you've ever hired, someone to help you with your food, they're going to say, log your food. And when you start logging your food, what you notice is, oh shit, I'm not eating, or I'm not eating enough. I'm overeating. Oh, look, I'm subconsciously, unconsciously just, grazing. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm eating. So you will do the same thing with time. You're going to waste time. Example, this morning I had a call with somebody for, 10 minutes and I had 30 minutes to the call. Well, 30 minutes is actually a lot of time to get something done. Instead, I completely just wasted it doing absolutely nothing because mentally I'm I only have 30 minutes. I probably could have cleared some, email inboxes. I could have prepped some food. I could have just sat on my ass, which is exactly what I did. It's really about understanding that we do have more time than we give ourselves permission to admitting, but we don't budget our time. We don't invest it properly. So when you become a high performer, what happens is you begin to realize that every request for your time and energy is precious. Every request for your time and energy is precious. And what I mean by that is someone will say, hey, can you talk? Sure, I could probably talk, but what do you need from me? Why do you want to talk to me? Oh, I just was curious about, this resource that you use. Great. Here's the link or here's the app. Instead of, being on the phone for 30 minutes, I could just give you the app, right? Give you the URL. What is it that you need from me? Get to the point. But sometimes people just, want to talk to you, and that is okay. People can talk to you. But you have to ask yourself, is this in alignment with what I need right now? And what I've been focusing on with myself when it comes to budgeting my time and really tracking my time is the little ways that we can be pulled from a task. So I've been in book editing mode, and I'll notice, of course, I want to be distracted. I do not want to edit. And I say that declaring that I'm defending that belief. I do not want to edit. And so it's easy, someone texts you and they're like, hey, I need you. Can you talk quickly? Even if it's a 5-minute phone call, budgeting that time has actually taken me 30 minutes to get back on task because your brain is out of flow. It's in somebody else's business. And then you have to mentally realign yourself with okay, now I have to clear myself of whatever shit, that conversation was. And then now I have to get back on task. So if you have a boundary with your time and you're tracking your time, you can create pockets of space for this. But again, this is why it is such a mindset issue, because if you're a chronic people pleaser or you don't feel worthy, what is going to happen is every time someone needs your attention, you're going to jump on that because you're coming from an insecure place. So being mindful that it's not that you're unorganized, it's not that you are all over the place or you have shiny object syndrome. It's you have to ask yourself, why am I not staying on task? And people will say to me as well, well, Heather, I've been diagnosed with ADD, ADHD. Okay, great. These are real life things, right? This is not just get over it. These are real life things. but there are tools that you can use to stay on task. Like having somebody hold space for you when you're following through with a task and then you're like, boop, shiny object. It's like, come back, come back, come back. But a lot of this stuff, I'm telling you, a lot of this stuff is driven by the subconscious belief system. And this is when people say, I want to find peace. But if you are constantly telling yourself subconsciously, I am not enough, I am a piece of shit, and I'm never going to be successful, I'm never going to amount to anything, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, you have to realize that in order to achieve, you have to believe. And if you want to believe, you have to do the inner work. All right, prioritizing. Let's talk about prioritizing, and then I'm wrapping this up. If you say to me, Heather, my goal is to improve my sleep, to improve my relationships with my family, and to create more focused, intentional time at home, unplugged from work, and feeling more in alignment with my mind and my body and my soul, and yet you will not change your work habits, or you refuse to start a morning routine, or you refuse to log your time, or you refuse to ask yourself what are your priorities and setting those boundaries, you will never see results. Let me give you a life example. With the season that I'm entering in my personal and professional life, I have to become wildly intentional with my time and energy. My fitness is high on my priority list right now because when my body is functioning properly, my mind is functioning properly, and food is also a priority for me. So when food is a priority for me, guess what? My body works better, my mind works better. Therefore, this impacts how I work and how I parent. And when I'm parenting and I feel full in my mind and my body and I'm fueled, guess what? Guess what? I'm not yelling. I'm focused. I'm less reactive. If my priorities are to increase my finances, to learn more about wealth, to invest in something new that I've never heard of before, where do you think I'm going to prioritize my time? I'm going to prioritize my time listening to podcasts about investing, maybe hiring a mentor, maybe creating space for their program. You need to understand that we all have 24 hours in a day. And what you're prioritizing now, today, like what you have done in the last 24 hours, is what you are prioritizing in your life. So if you say you want to improve something, but you have no evidence of prioritizing that, that is exactly why you feel like you don't have enough time. Okay, so I could go on and on and on. There were 5 more things, but I'm not going to bore you. My point here is that this is a mindset. And you can interview 20 different people, and they're all going to have 20 different relationships with time. Time is the only resource that we cannot create more of. We can always create more money. We can always generate more energy, but you will not get your time back. So my question for you is, you have one precious life. One precious life. What are you going to do with it? All right, ladies, thank you so much for listening today. If you are ready to redefine your relationship with time and live more in alignment, then let's dive in together for the Getting Out or Get Out of Your Own Way mini course, heatherchauvin.com/workshop, CHAUVIN. Let's go.
Hey, Mom is in Control listeners. It's Sarah.
And me, Sasha.
And we are the co-hosts of the podcast Dear White Women, which is a show that eases you into uncomfortable conversations about racism. So we know anti-racist work is at the top of mind for everyone right now, and we really believe that anti-racist work is not a moment, it's not a thing that we're doing right now, it's a lifestyle. And so for us, we're making our work concrete, practical, and accessible for the long haul. And Heather invited us to come on her podcast to share just one of the resources we're committed to, which is our monthly virtual book club. So we've started a Patreon, and if you head over to our podcast website, dearwhitewomen.com, we would love for you to join us. The book club starts in August, so you'll have time to grab the book and start reading if you join us now. Thanks again.